Stacy here with Limelight AZ. So today I went ahead and looked up some videos on Lyme disease and bee venom therapy, trying to see if there was anything new out there that I had not seen before. And I ran across a video that I hadn't seen before, even though it was uploaded in January, where Ellie Lobel, who is the one that discovered bee venom for Lyme disease, was speaking at a presentation of some sort here in the Phoenix area. So in January is when this was uploaded, January 17th to be exact. And that was just about the time that my Lyme symptoms really started hitting me, before I even knew what was going on yet. Anyways, so I watched this video, and she talks about her history, and I knew that she had that she was a scientist prior to getting contracting Lyme disease, but I didn't know much more than that. She had a PhD in nuclear physics, I believe, by the time she was 18. I mean, PhD in nuclear physics by the time she was 18. We are talking an incredibly intelligent woman. And I can't say that I consider her a friend. I've had the wonderful opportunity of speaking with her through Facebook a handful of times. And she is an incredibly intelligent person that is also quite humble and just wants to give back to the Lyme community. And this was one of the big reasons why I chose bee venom, was because I saw sincerity in her and her story. And I jumped all over the bee venom therapy because of that. Did not go with any other therapies first. And I just was thinking today, after hearing more of her speaking, about what an incredible story this woman has. You know, I cannot imagine that her story and her situation is not going to go down in history books. I mean, seriously, we're talking like the quality of finding the cure for cancer without people realizing that they're dealing with it yet. You know, Lyme disease is such a horrible situation, and as she mentions in the video, it meets the guidelines as a pandemic already. But nobody knows about it, and hardly anybody talks about it. Just people in the Lyme community are the ones bringing it out and talking about it. And it is considered a pandemic, which means worldwide situation that is causing death and destruction. It just, it is shocking to me that, first of all, Lyme is not discussed more than it is. That people don't know about it, that it's not gaining the notoriety that it should be by now, with as many people that have it and are dealing with it. Anyway, so back to Ellie. So the fact that she is a walking, talking, living example of what bee venom therapy has done for a person that has come out of the trenches of Lyme disease. My situation sucks. I am bedridden. I am weak. I have not gotten out of this bed in 4 months, with the exception of one visit to the hospital. And most of the time I feel like I wish I could just go to sleep and not wake up. I mean, I want to live. I want to have a life. And, but sometimes the gravity of what I'm dealing with makes me feel like I want to die. You know, it'd be easier just to go to sleep and not wake up. And I feel like a lot of time that I just don't have the fight in me. And then I look at it and I'm like, I could easily have another 40 years to my life. Easily. I'm not even 40 yet. I could easily have another 40 years to my life. We were talking a 2 to 3 year protocol to gain an additional 37 years. With the potential that it is going to eradicate the Lyme disease and co-infections from my system. That's worth it. That's worth it. For an additional potential of 37 years added to my life, just by spending 3 years in fighting for it, But when you're in the midst of it, it really feels a lot like you just want to give up. And I am having to dig for reasons why I want to stay alive. My children and my husband, of course. But I cannot tell you how many times I've told my husband, I just can't do this anymore. I don't know that I can do this anymore. And I am so tired. So physically tired, emotionally tired, mentally tired. I'm even spiritually tired, and I feel like I wish God would just take me sometimes, And then you hear stories like Ellie's, and you're like, oh my gosh, like, here's a woman that was way worse than I am. And she literally was on on death's door. She had months to live, and then was attacked by a whole bunch of killer bees on top of it. And she survived, and she continued to fight. And I'm in awe at the people that have the strength to pull through like this, For years. She fought for years with going through the different therapies that everybody recommended and whatnot. And I'm only at the tip of the iceberg with my therapy, even though this is a therapy that I think will work and will work long term. I'm only at the tip of the iceberg, and I feel like I want to give up. Oh my gosh, the will of this woman and other people like her. Jessica McLaughlin is another one. She is a fellow Lyme, as she puts it, Lyme warrior. And she and I chatted a day or two ago, and she's just so encouraging. And she's been fighting this now for 15 years herself, and I'm in awe at people like her and Ellie that come along and encourage people like me who are like, I don't want to do this, I just want to give up, Anyways, so back to Ellie. Ellie is going to go down in history books. I just mark my words, at least the medical history books. She is going to go down in history books with information about how people were able to be cured from a disease that nobody talked about, and then suddenly woke up one day to realize half the world has it. And she already had the cure for it. I have my eye on my next goal. I feel like I'm kind of jumping around a bit, and I'm sorry about that. I'm in awe at Ellie, and I'm in awe at other Lyme warriors, and I am having to remind myself that I'm in this for the long haul, and that I am not going to give up. But I don't think that I really will. If it really were to boil down to it, I don't think I would. I love my family too much to do that to them. But I sure feel like it a lot, and I think a lot of Lyme people can relate to that. Like, they just get to a point of where they are just done. They're just over it. And so I am trying to keep my eyes on the dates, on the big dates for me. So my first big date was the getting to 10 stings. I've been there now for 8 weeks. So my next big date is getting to 3 months at 10 stings, which will be in another 4 or 5 weeks. Um, and then the next one after that will be 6 months from there. And that, or approximately 6 months, and that'll be the 1 year mark. And by then, I'm hoping to see an enormous improvement. Um, Still, currently, I'm just plugging away day in, day out, wishing I could participate with my family on a bigger level, wishing I wasn't a burden to them, wishing that I could make dinner, watch the children, do just basic things that I can't do yet. One day I will be inviting Ellie to come and speak about Lyme disease and bee venom when I am able to be another walking, talking example of somebody who's gone from being bedridden, as she mentioned in the video, which, by the way, I'll put a link for in the bottom, to somebody who's thriving. I need to be one of those positive examples so that people that are on YouTube and are looking for answers for Lyme disease can come across this and see my story by the time that I'm better, see all my updates and everything that led up to it, and how frustrating some weeks were and how other weeks weren't so bad, and then how I've slowly improved and how it just seemed to drag by so very slow. So much needs to be done about Lyme, and the co-infections are just as bad, and it's just going to keep getting worse the less people acknowledge it. So alright, I think that's enough rambling for one night.